All right, in this session, what we want to pay attention to is how do we calculate either the diameter or the circumference of a circle when we're given one but not the other, okay? Now, oftentimes what we're given the diameter of a circle and we have to figure out the circumference. Well, there's basically three ways to calculate those answers, okay? You can either calculate a circumference by just using pi as a constant. And we'll see what that means in just a moment. Or we can use the decimal 3.14 as pi, or we can use the fraction 22/7 as pi, but we need to be careful here. This is always best when a diameter is divisible by 7. Okay? Now let's take a look at the formula for getting a circumference, for calculating a circumference. In a book, you'll see it as circumference equals pi times d. I like to say circumference equals diameter times pi because when tests and textbooks give us answers, they will usually put like 5 before the pi. So that's why I like to say circumference equals d times pi. Now, let's just take, for instance, a problem right down here at the bottom. The diameter across is 5. Now we should know right away that the circumference is a little over 3 times 5. So the way to figure it out closely is to go circumference equals diameter times pi, or 5 times pi. Then we multiply the 5 times 3.14, and we get the circumference is equal to 15.70. We drop the 0. Now notice 15.7 is a little more than 3 times 5, so that works out well. If we just wanted the answer in terms of pi, there's the answer. If we wanted the answer in terms of pi equals 3.14, there is the answer at the bottom. Okay? Now, here are some more samples. So it's a smaller circle here. The diameter is 3, but we should know that the answer is going to be a little bit above 9. Because 1 diameter, 2 diameter, 3 diameter, 3 times 3 is 9 plus a little bit. And if our answer is going to be just in terms of pi, circumference equals 3 pi. But if we want our answer in terms of 3.14 is equal to pi, then it's 9.42. Okay? Now if we go up a little bit, now we see where our diameter is 7. When the diameter is 7 or a multiple of 7, what we can do is use 22/7 as pi. So our circumference is equal to 7, the diameter, times pi. Let's use 22/7 as pi. When these cross cancel, we get our circumference as 22. And let's see if that makes sense. What's 7 times 3? 21. What's a little over 21? 22. Makes sense. Okay? Now let's go down to the bottom one here. When diameter is 10, we will multiply 10 times decimal pi to get 31.4. Well, what's 10 times 3? 30. Well, what's a little over 30? 31.4. Okay? All right? Now those have been easy so far. But now we come to a pretty tricky problem. So let's look right up here. Now the circumference is given, but we need to calculate the diameter. So we don't know the diameter, but we know that our circumference, if we start here, go all the way around, it's 12.56. What is the diameter? Now, we could simply take 12.56 divided by 3.14, but I don't think we have to do that. We should all know that 3 can go into 12 4 times. How many 3's are in 12? Because our magic proportion of pi is 3.14. So if it goes into 4, if 3 goes into 12 4 times, what we can do is, now let's take pi decimal times what our guess is, 4-inch diameter, and guess what it comes out to? Exactly 12.56. So with that circumference, we get an exact diameter of 4. Okay? That was a little tricky. Now, this is where tests try to trick us again. They try to trick us because what they'll do is they'll give us a radius and they'll tell us what that radius is, but then they ask for the circumference. And we need to know that the radius is 1/2 of a diameter, so it takes 2 radii, or 2 times this radius, to get a diameter. So let's see what this question says. What is the formula for the circumference of a circle with radius r? So we go down here. Now radius times radius times pi, or pi times radius, that is not the formula for a circumference. It's d times pi. Okay? So this top one is wrong. Now the middle one, 2 times the radius, that's equal to diameter. Diameter times pi, that is the correct formula right here in the middle. Now down here on B, radius squared, we do not square that to get a diameter. We times it by 2. So this is wrong here. We merely times the radius by 2 times by pi to get our circumference. So if we know that, let's try something like this. Diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. Now the circumference then, if a diameter is 2 times the radius, the circumference will equal to 2 times the radius times pi to get the circumference. So let's go down to this problem right there. The radius is 3. So to get the diameter, we go 2 times 3 times pi. So our circumference in terms of pi is 6 pi. But if we want our circumference in terms of 3.14 decimal pi, it comes out to 18.84. Let's see if this makes sense. 3 radius, diameter is 3 times 2 is 6. So what is 6, 6, and 6? It's 18. What's a little over 18? 18.84. Okay? Then down here. All right. Radius is 7. Ooh. Now, we take 2 times 7 to get the diameter, 14 pi. So the circumference is 14 pi. Now, since 14 is divisible by 7, we go ahead and we go 14 the diameter times fraction pi, cancel out, we leave with 2 there, and so we get 44. All right? And let's stop there.